So I will be filling these buckets up with some tomato plants and whatever else.
Do you think I could get it through 4?
I don't know, you can try. Push.
I don't think I can. Maybe.
You can do it backwards to make it come out. There's that little, there you go.
Did it? Yeah.
I have become very fond with growing my vegetables and fruits in containers. I am always trying to push the envelope when it comes to growing things that are traditionally grown in ground. So these containers that my son are filling up, I actually got these for free. Now right here, I'm just showing you what I'm about to transplant into those containers. But nonetheless, I did get these black containers for free, and they are food safe. You always want to look for the number 5 or the number 2 on the bottom of your containers. I'm actually about to plant some tomatoes inside of these. Now, I got these containers at, drum roll please, Trader Joe's. So Trader Joe's, of course, they sell flowers, and a lot of times they will hold their flowers in these black buckets. And when I was there, I saw them just along the side of the window by the cash register, and I just asked, I said, hey, am I able to get these containers, or do I need to pay for them? And they were like, here, take some. And I was like, okay. So I was very excited to be able to take some containers. And so whenever I do get the opportunity to shop at Trader Joe's, they're not very close to me, but when I get the opportunity to shop there, I will ask if it's okay for me to take some containers. Now, they do want you to be reasonable with how many you take. So I'll take maybe 3 or 4 at a time. And if my husband goes to Trader Joe's, he'll take 3 or 4 at a time. And this is one of the ways that you are able to help with the cost of gardening, is by getting containers that are free and that are food grade. These particular buckets are probably about 3 gallons each. The smaller ones are probably about 2 gallons. So you might want to consider what it is that you're growing inside of these containers when you are getting them. Now, I am growing a variety of tomatoes that is specific for containers. These are sweet tomatoes. I'll put a picture, if I can find one, of the seed packet so that you are able to get it if this is something that you are wanting to grow. It's still not too late to get started with growing tomatoes, especially if you are in zone 8 or above, because you have a longer growing season. And also, you guys, you can grow food inside your home. My husband and I grew a tomato plant, and that thing produced so much fruit inside of a container that was actually smaller than these, and it was like the little grape tomatoes. So if you get it next to a very sunny spot in your house, we put it in our back patio door, and the sun was able to come in and it thrived. And when I say we got a lot of tomatoes, we did. I wish I had a picture, but this was several years ago. If by any chance I can find the picture, I will make sure that I post it for you guys so that you can see it. Now, as I've said in my previous videos, when it comes to planting in containers, you have to make sure that you are feeding it the food that it needs. So what I do is I add in my soil, and then I'll add in some fertilizer, like some granular fertilizer. And also, you'll see me a little bit later add in a liquid fertilizer after the fact. Sometimes I'll also use compost. I believe I did use compost on top of the soil and then add the granular fertilizer. And I just worked it in as I was transplanting my tomatoes into the buckets. And then after I did that again, like I said, I will use a fish fertilizer. You guys will see again, like I said, in a little bit, the fish fertilizer that I like to use to water in my plants, because this gives it an immediate feed. Immediate. So I advise not to miss this step because of that. Now that I have all of that together, I'm just adding a little bit more soil on top. Because these are tomato plants, you want to try to get them buried in as deep as you possibly can, because the stem will set more roots and it'll make for a sturdier plant. It'll be stronger and it will be able to withstand like wind and heavy rains and things of that nature. So those are my tips for growing tomatoes in containers and to make sure that you are nurturing your tomatoes. I'm just topping off my potato plants with some extra soil. As the leaves grow, I just add some more soil. So that's what I'm doing back here in these boxes. By the way, this is the first time that I'm actually growing potatoes inside of a cardboard box. I saw a couple of videos and I was like, you know what? I'm trying it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So far, things are looking well. You'll see, because I am going to give you like a quick view of the garden so that you can have an update of what it is that I am doing. So after I got done watering those tomato plants with just, regular water, this is where I'm adding in that fish fertilizer, and I go in and I water again. Being that these are containers, I don't overly worry about watering them too much and the potential of root rot. Although I am a little more concerned about them being in like plastic containers and them getting root rot. Not so much with my grow bags because it has better aeration, but I'm not overly concerned because they don't have a saucer or a tray underneath it to catch water and hold it. If I overwater it, a lot of times it will just drain directly into my grass. So I was just showing you guys the Alaska fish fertilizer that I use. I will put a link in my description to this particular fertilizer that I use. It will be an Amazon link, but you can actually get it cheaper at Walmart if you actually go into the store. But I know sometimes we like convenience, and ordering online is so much easier. So I will help you out and put that link down below. So after I do all of this, I'm just going to start caging these up, and I'm going to place them in my area that I want them to be in my garden. I had a few metal trellises from last year that I used with my grow bags, and I actually used most of these trellises with my cucumber plants and my squash plants. That will be another video. Maybe in a couple of months, I will show you guys how I trellis my cucumber plants and my squash plants. And you guys, this works so much better with aeration. So cages aren't just for your tomato plants, although you do need them for those tomato plants so that you can train them up and to grow in a vertical space so that they are able to get more airflow and help with disease prevention. That is one of the biggest purposes for trellising your tomatoes. Also, another things, tomatoes, they will sprawl out and they will be all over the place. Last year, even though I trellised my 2 tomato plants, those things, they had a mind of their own, and it was very hard for me to strategically trellis those plants, and they grew so large. And yeah, but trellising them is a necessity. And what I'm doing here is just adding one trellis for 2 containers. So the metal trellises, I did 2 containers. Being that this is a container variety of tomatoes, it's not going to get as big as a regular tomato. And I just want to be on the safe side and have it there if it is a necessity. Now, I'm also using some bamboo sticks that I purchased from Walmart, and I got 12 4-foot bamboo sticks. They were, I think, $3 and some change, closer to $4. But you guys, it was very inexpensive, and I was able to purchase 2 of them. So these are other ways that you can garden for cheap. Or if you have sticks lying around, you guys get those sticks and use them as trellises. I did that last year with some of my tomato plants. My husband pruned some of our trees, and I just used those to trellis my tomatoes, and it worked beautifully. So be inventive, be as inexpensive as you possibly can when it comes to gardening, because it can add up really fast, you guys. Alrighty, so now I'm just going in and watering my other plants that I have inside of my grow bags, because they were needing the water and craving it, and just making sure that everything within my garden is doing well. You guys, I just want to encourage you to get out there and ask your local bakers, your grocery stores, if they have any containers that are free. This is how we keep the cost down in the garden. All right, you guys, so this is what I have going on in my garden. My sweet potatoes are doing well. This one in particular is starting to vine. I have yellow Yukon potatoes and then some, I believe, red potatoes in there. They're doing well. I feel like every time I add more soil, because you're supposed to add soil as they grow, it's like the next day they've grown even more. But those are doing fine. This is my rosemary right here. And as you can see, the weeds and grass are kind of getting to that. This is my row of tomatoes, you guys. The ones that you just saw me transplant. So I had these 3 cages, and I'm just going to trellis, hopefully, 2 tomato plants per cage. And then I bought these bamboo sticks at Walmart. They were like $3.50, and I think I got like 9 or 10. But anyway, I figured I could do 3 bamboo sticks. So I put 2 in one and then 1 in the other, and these can share a trellis. You guys, it might not work. We'll see as time goes. And I'll tie some string on that, probably jute string on that. So these are all sweet tomatoes, basil, and I put some hot pepper in some of these right here. My blueberry plants, I put some scraps in there. It's my other blueberry plant. I have onion in there to help deter pests. My strawberry plant that I just bought not too long ago. Alrighty, and over here, this is what I planted a few weeks ago, the last video that you guys saw, and this is how the tomato plants are doing. These are the ones that I grew. I had about 5 or 6 plants in one little starter container, and they were looking literally like this when I first transplanted them, and this is how they are growing now. This is garlic. This was from the store. I got some organic garlic from Walmart, and I planted 1 bulb, and as you can see, it is starting to produce a head of garlic. And then these are pepper plants, basil, and this is pretty much how all of these look here. I put sweet green basil, and I put some purple basil, but as you can see, my tomatoes are doing well. This is the beefsteak tomatoes. And then over here, things are going fairly well. More tomatoes. This is Roma, and I have my basil and my bell pepper in here. This is some of my romaine lettuce. Y'all, I just got finished spraying it because there are so many aphids. This is the one where and you can see there's an aphid right there. But this is the one where the aphids just attack. No matter what I do, I've put the dish soap in there. I found a ladybug. I put the ladybug in there, and even still, the aphids are just taking that over. Here's my other thing of romaine. I do have a tomato plant. Actually, I think, you guys, I think this is spinach. that actually was able to pop out. There's a tomato plant. That one isn't doing so great. There's a tomato plant in there. That one isn't doing so great either. And neither is this one. This is also a Roma tomato, and then I have a head of romaine lettuce, and this was romaine as well. And the caterpillar, not the caterpillars, but the snails got to this one. I have more romaine in here, and some leafy lettuce, and another tomato plant. That's Roma. I have some onion in there, and over here, I think I showed you guys that these are 2 romaine plants. And when I say all of these, you guys, they all were looking a hot mess. What I've been doing when I transplanted them, but what I've been doing is just coming outside and removing some of those little bitty leaves and any suckers off of my tomato plants, because I want them to grow strong and healthy, and doing this is going to produce a better plant. So I've been just randomly doing this several times a week because I want my plant to grow strong and healthy. And then right here, you guys, we have collard greens and mustard greens. The mustard greens basically have snuffed out the collard greens. Those jokers are going wild. But this is a 20-gallon grow bag that I am using for that. But yeah. And then you guys, these are 3 grape plants that I got on sale at Walmart. I think they were like, this was how much? Yeah, this was $2 that I got at Walmart. And that one was 4. But these 2 were 4, I believe. And then this one was 2. They were dying. They had no leaves, but they're growing. And I still don't know what I'm going to do with them. That's why they're just right there, along with some raspberries and some elderberries. And lastly, you guys, I got this hibiscus plant on sale. It was $7, originally $16.88, and I'm excited about that. So my husband is an islander. He's from Jamaica, and hibiscus is like a big part of their diet. They make this tea called sorrel tea. And so I was so excited to be able to get that, because not just the flowers are edible, but the leaves are edible as well. So I'm excited about that. And you guys, my peach tree, as you can see, it is not doing great at all. But I do have this peach tree that I got last year at Walmart for $1, and this pear tree. The pear tree did nothing. But the peach tree here did produce 2 peaches. So at the end of this season, my plan is to transfer that into a grow bag. I saw this video of a lady who actually grows fruit trees in grow bags. I've also seen videos where they advise against it. But I am always for trying stuff out. I don't mind exploring and seeing, because I always learn. I learn from either the mistakes or the successes. And so I am going to do that once all of the leaves fall off. So that'll probably be in the fall or maybe the winter time. I'll transplant that, as well as the pear tree, in some grow bags. I also need to get another pear tree. That's the reason why it never produced anything, because you do need 2 pear trees in order to produce fruit. But you guys, I just want to show you some of the things that I use in my garden. Hopefully this will help you guys as you are trying to garden, and you guys, we can all just grow food together, right? I just try. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I'm just trying, and I'm learning as I go, and I incorporate things. Sometimes the things that I incorporate work, sometimes they do not work, and that is okay.